Radio Rahim with Frank Warren, once again putting on a fantastic show. And this time, there's quite a bit in the balance. Your man has come back immediately for the rematch. You've been around boxing a long time. Sometimes too fast is just too soon. What do you think?
We will find out. But more importantly, how did your team get on last night?
My team, Arsenal, my first football match ever, won 4-0. Clearly that was down to me. Won my bets, had a 4-course meal. This was a fantastic experience.
Getting back to the most important thing. Look, he's called for the rematch because he knows without winning that rematch, it puts his career back a good 2 years. You know, we're hoping that Tyson comes through against Ngannou, and then I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we do get what everybody wants, which is the unification. After the unification, you've got the IBF and the WBO calling for their respective mandatories. That means the winner of this, who will be the WBO mandatory challenger, will get a shot next year. But it means the loser, it's going to take him a long time before he gets himself into a position for a voluntary, because there won't be no voluntaries, or getting himself back into a number one spot. That could take 2 years. So that's why Joe's asked for it. Joe knows what he did wrong last time, and the big question is, can he correct it?
You talk about a unification bout, and you know that's going to perk up ears, because if Ngannou is next and then Fury starts talking, Joe Joyce is going to be a lot of stick for him, especially in this country.
Well, look, the situation is really simple. Tyson's agenda's there. All he's focused on at the moment is one of the biggest events certainly I've been involved with Ngannou. It's going to be huge. And after that, if he comes through, then we'll see what pans out. I mean, those titles are going to have to be defended. There's no doubt about that. And as I say, the winner of this will be fighting for the WBO version.
Lastly, on the Fury, there's quite a bit of criticism that Ngannou is his next fight, but let's say that, okay, fine, we do that fight. Are you as a promoter, like, as a boxing fan even, pushing Tyson in the direction that undisputed has to be a major part of his agenda?
I want to see I want to see the undisputed. I want to see it as a fan. I want to see it from my involvement with Tyson, so that he proves what I believe he's the best heavyweight in the world. He is the best heavyweight in the world. Daniel Dubois exposed Usyk in that last fight. He showed what I've always felt, that he has a weakness, and that weakness is his body. And I've seen that in previous fights, and certainly Daniel exposed that. So I want to see that fight. I'd love to see that fight happen. If it happens, great.
But can Fury prove that he is the best without that fight?
We will see. Let's get this one out of the way, one step at a time. You know, all those people want to do a load of steps at a time. They'll fall over. One step at a time.
Well, one guy who's stepping back in the ring that's had many steps to that occasion, he's not in your stable, but Conor Benn obviously has made quite a bit of a year in news, and he'll be fighting on Saturday, the 23rd. What do you make of him returning to the ring?
Well, it's all been done it's like it's a bit slippery, isn't it, what they did? It's not like they announced it a month ago or 6 weeks ago, 4 days before a fight. Oh, he's on the card. What's that all about? What, they never knew? They didn't know that was going to happen? It's a load of crap. And to his credit, the Boxing Board of Control's General Secretary, Robert Smith, came out, and he's independent. He's not me or somebody who people feel have got an agenda. My agenda in this is really simple. You tested positive. You haven't had a hearing to explain why that was in your system. He hasn't done that. And that is beyond doubt. And that's what Robert Smith has said. It should be happening.
A guy who is returning to the ring without a cloud over him, but we don't know what the plan is for the future. I saw him last night at the football. He seemed to be ready to fight. He seems to be in the right spirit. Anthony Yard will be returning on the 23rd. What's the plan for his future?
I want to see him come, get this ring rust out of his system. He's been out of the ring for a while. Get that out of his system, and I'd like to get him in some sort of world title fight before the end of the year, and that's what we'll work towards for him.
Another fighter who we haven't seen in a while in the ring, but is talking about a comeback, is Billy Joe Saunders. The Gypsy Squad seems to be wanting to make a return. Where is that at?
I mean, I've only read about it. I have no knowledge of what's going on there, but be interested. I mean, first thing for me with Billy is what weight he's at, you know, and that determine how real it is. But Bill's a quality fighter, and I mean, you know, if he comes back, it'd be interesting to see him. There's some good fights to be made.
Now, he's a quality fighter, but we also know he's a bit of a difficult or a handful at times. Would you be interested in promoting Billy if he were to make that
I
return?
think there's some fights out there, but let's see what the desire's like first, and you're only going to tell that by looking at his condition.
And lastly, Frank, we're on the cusp of Canelo. Once I leave this great occasion on the 23rd, which I'm over for, I will be headed to Vegas for Canelo and Charlo. Well, how do you think that fight goes?
I hate to say it, I like Canelo, I do like him, but I do think he's not the fighter he was.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, are you giving the underdog a big chance on Saturday, next Saturday?
Look, you know, Canelo's a big favourite, obviously, but I wouldn't write him off.
We've heard that Terence Crawford is serious about making a challenge to Canelo.
Yeah.
If you believe that he's not the Canelo he once was, could Terence Crawford shock the world?
Well, I think Terence Crawford is a great fighter, and he's become a 20-year overnight sensation after his last fight. He showed everybody what he's about. He's a quality fighter, you know, and I'm sure him and Canelo would be huge. It'd be a huge fight.
You think he could win it?
Yeah.
Joe Joyce's last big win was Daniel Dubois. We know that Daniel thought that he might be in line for a Fury fight or an Usyk fight. And now this Joshua fight could be in the making. What are your thoughts there?
What with Daniel?
Yeah.
They won't take that in a million years. I'd love to see it. Listen, what is the things, I mean, privately, the conversations I have with a lot of guys, you guys, everybody says, oh, Daniel, he hasn't got a heart. Right? That's what people say. But they also say the same thing about Joshua. It's, you know, he's got no desire anymore. You know, he's a bit more sensitive now. What a great fight for them two. Let's find out who's got the biggest heart. We know they both can bang. Let's see who's got the big ticker.
Why do you reckon they'd never take that fight, in your words?
Because I just don't think they will. I really don't.
Lastly, Frank.
Hey, listen, we don't want to take you know, and I'm a realist. If it happens, of course, Joshua's got to take the thick end of the purse. I get that, understand that, not a problem. What's about 50-50s and all that? Whatever it takes to accommodate it, let's make it happen.
Whatever it takes to accommodate, let's make it happen. I think that is the Frank Warren motto for all these many years in boxing. Whatever it took to make this interview happen was well worth it. Thank you, Frank. Radio Rahim with Frank Warren.
And Frank Warren with Radio Rahim.
Hey!